The cries reached Sarah Brennan's ears before anything else came into view. What started as an ordinary trek along her trap line turned into something far different when that desperate sound pierced the evening air. A horrifying blend of human panic and savage growling tore through the fading light. Racing toward the noise with her weapon at the ready, she stumbled upon a scene from her darkest nightmares. A group of 4 predatory wolves had surrounded an injured stranger, while his mount lay dead and steaming against the white ground. 2 warning shots fired skyward sent the pack retreating. Though they remained nearby among the trees, their eyes burning like hot embers in the shadows. The stranger, clearly a ranch hand around 30 years old, was sprawled in an expanding pool of red. His upper leg ripped apart down to the bone itself. "Just go," he whispered hoarsely. "I'm not worth the trouble." She paid no attention to his protests. The injury had hit an artery. He had minutes left, not much longer. Tearing off her neckcloth, she fashioned a makeshift binding and pulled it as tight as possible. His scream echoed before unconsciousness claimed him. "Don't you dare close your eyes," she ordered firmly, beginning the struggle of moving him to her sled. His weight was substantial, completely limp, though she'd moved heavy deer before. This was simply flesh that happened to speak. The predators trailed them from 50 yards behind, waiting with the patience of inevitable death itself, getting him loaded. His blood stained her winter coat thoroughly. Contents from his leather bag had scattered across the ground. Among the items, a gold band worn with age and a child's crude sketch showing 3 figures joined hand in hand. He's fleeing from his past, she realized. "What?" "Emma," he muttered through his delirium. "Said I'd return damaged?" Her isolated home appeared through the blinding snowstorm like salvation, a single lit window, cutting through the white chaos. After dragging the unconscious stranger across her threshold and securing the entrance, she finally allowed her body to tremble. Beyond the glass, glowing eyes kept their vigil. Their hunt wasn't finished, and apparently neither was her involvement. 3 full days passed while Cole's body fought against the fever's inferno. She replaced blood-drenched wrappings, fed him spoonfuls of warm broth, became an unwilling witness to his fevered confessions. His wife's identity emerged, made along with his son Thomas. He's barely 5 years old, and the crushing remorse that poured from his delirious rambling. "Lord help me, I wasn't present." The words resonated deeply within her, 20-4 months earlier. Cholera had claimed her own husband David during a simple trip to purchase supplies. Remorse was a dialect both understood without translation. When dawn broke on the 4th morning, his fever had finally released its grip. Opening his eyes, Cole discovered Sarah unconscious in a seat next to his temporary bed, her complexion pale from complete exhaustion. He observed her carefully copper-colored hair falling loose from its plait, weathered hands resting in her lap, the particular kind of weariness that resulted from caring too deeply. "You should have abandoned me," he stated, when she stirred awake. Perhaps she acknowledged, rising to fetch water, but that's not what happened. Their first genuine exchange passed between them a mutual recognition of inner torment. An unexpected knock broke the moment. Sarah's expression hardened. "Stay silent." Opening the entrance revealed Jenkins, the settlement's delivery man. His attention immediately shifted past her to spot Cole, simply ensuring you're well, Mrs. Brennan. Word spread about your visitor. A wounded traveler. Basic Christian kindness. Naturally, though his smile never touched his gaze. "I'll inform everyone you're handling things. Isolated way out here with an unfamiliar male companion and everything." Once he departed, she stared at her own image reflected in the glass. The wedding band from her deceased husband still hung from a chain against her chest. Yet another spirit she carried everywhere. "Bad weather approaching," she announced, despite cloudless skies. "You'll have to remain until you've recovered enough for the journey." Cole detected both the falsehood and the underlying wish within her words. 7 days afterward, Cole managed 3 steps before agony buckled his injured leg. "Sufficient to depart?" he declared. She poured coffee as though she hadn't registered his comment. Beyond the walls, the season's first songbird called out the deceptive variety that suggested warmth. While delivering ice instead, he attempted once more. I need to leave before my presence destroys your standing. Destroys? She finally met his gaze directly. This settlement decided my standing was ruined the moment I refused to remarry and sell this property. You're merely their newest justification. Explain why you remained, he requested, so she revealed everything. Becoming a widow at 25, refusing to part with territory her husband had died establishing, rejecting 3 proposals of marriage, the community branding her as abnormal, headstrong, arrogant. And your story? She asked in return. Cole's tale emerged more reluctantly. Emma and Thomas, taken by diphtheria 18 months prior while he'd been 200 miles distant on a work drive. Since their deaths, he'd been wandering, accepting hazardous work, partially wishing death would locate him first. We're both existing as ghosts, he observed, not truly living at all. Before she could reply, approaching hoofbeats interrupted. Through the window, Jenkins returning, accompanied this time by church ladies, Mrs. Caldwell. Age 60 and self-righteous, didn't pause for any greeting. Mrs. Brennan, this arrangement is completely unacceptable. A widow and a wanderer, without proper supervision. The congregation insists on appropriate measures. The man's injured, Sarah responded calmly. I'm being charitable. That encompasses the entire situation. Everyone's discussing it. Let them discuss. After their indignant departure, Cole discovered Sarah outside on the porch, her shoulders trembling. He positioned himself beside her without making contact, simply present. In the distance, wolves called out. Warmer days are coming, he offered. Neither truly believed it. Cole. Hartley hadn't constructed anything meaningful in 24 months, not since abandoning Thomas's unfinished toy chest in a Wyoming storage building. Yet here he stood, tool in grip, repairing Sarah's deteriorating fence while she scattered feed for the poultry. Household routines felt like a forgotten language, his mind somehow still comprehended. Throughout the following 2 weeks, he restored what the harsh season had damaged: support posts, roofing tiles, the crooked barn entrance. She introduced him to her territory, which stream contained fish, where edible plants sprouted, techniques for soothing the anxious mule. Their partnership developed through shared work. Small moments of closeness accumulated naturally, fingers grazing when exchanging tools. Shared amusement when birds escaped indoors, peaceful quiet that communicated more than words. He etched decorative plant designs into a replacement post, incorporating her name's first letters, leaving it for her to discover. When Sunday arrived, Sarah attended services without him. Cole observed her departure, then occupied the morning with his carving. Her premature return revealed everything through her rigid jaw. They turned away during the singing, she reported. The minister's message centered on biblical wickedness. I left. Cole had attempted cooking none successfully. Charred bread, excessively seasoned soup. Their shared laughter felt like the first authentic happiness either had experienced in years. The settlement considers me wicked, she said, her smile disappearing. The settlements never witnessed true strength in a woman before. The pause extended. Firelight illuminated the golden tones in her hair. He moved closer. She didn't retreat. Their mouths nearly met. A howl split the darkness. Near, dangerously near. Seizing his weapon, Cole noticed fresh tracks encircling the structure through the window. They've returned, he stated, and they're starving. She loaded her own rifle. Standing shoulder to shoulder against the wall, they maintained watch until sunrise. Neither found sleep. Marcus Dawson settled himself far too comfortably within Sarah's kitchen, his hat placed on the surface as though claiming ownership. A widow requires security, he stated, as if Cole's presence in the doorframe was invisible. Become my wife. Repair your standing. This troubling arrangement concludes. Cole's jaw tightened. Dawson, 50 years old, affluent, accustomed to acquiring whatever he desired. I'm not some difficulty requiring your resolution, Sarah replied. Dawson's pleasant facade cracked. You're embarrassing yourself over a drifter. Everyone's discussing it. Sarah, your deceased husband would feel shame. Leave now. Consider carefully. Now. Following Dawson's exit, Cole paced restlessly. Men of his type don't accept rejection. He'll uncover damaging information or fabricate it. Yes. Let him attempt it. At evening, courage discovered them both. Cole ceased pacing, positioning himself before her. I'm developing deep feelings for you, Sarah, but I'm damaged internally. I possess nothing valuable to provide. I don't require perfection, she responded softly. I require honesty. His kiss began tentative, then grew urgent, 2 years of isolation finally meeting. She removed her widow's jewelry, placing it upon the mantel. I'm finished existing as a ghost, she breathed. Morning shattered their peace with arriving riders. Sheriff Garrett, accompanied by his deputy, displayed a printed notice. Wanted Cole Hartley. Murder charges. Wyoming territory. $500 reward. Sarah's heart plummeted. That's my name, Cole admitted, though not the complete truth. The sheriff's expression remained serious. You'll need to accompany us to town, son. Answer certain questions. He's staying here until you hear his explanation, Sarah interjected, though she noticed doubt flickering in the lawman's expression. In this region, doubt proved as lethal as a hanging rope. I shot someone, Cole began. But it wasn't murder, within Sarah's home. With the sheriff documenting everything, Cole shared the complete account. A ranch supervisor in Wyoming, viciously beating a 10-year-old Mexican child nearly to death over spilled grain. Cole had stepped in. The supervisor drew his weapon. Cole fired first a shoulder injury. Nothing fatal. The child survived. Sheriff Garrett inquired, as though the supervisor's father served as a territorial judge. I fled rather than face a corrupted trial. That's his version, the sheriff told Sarah. Dawson's account differs. Claims Hartley's a dangerous man. Dawson wants my property and my compliance, Sarah countered sharply. Which version do you trust? The sheriff departed to telegraph Wyoming for verification. But harm had been inflicted. A town assembly that evening, Dawson's orchestration. Sarah attended alone, facing the congregation while they hurled accusations. Sheltering criminals. The minister demanded she denounce Cole or face religious banishment. If defending a child is criminal, she declared, her voice unwavering, then I'll align myself with criminals. She departed amid their jeering, returning home. The cabin stood empty. A written message on the surface, you deserve an actual life, not infamy. Don't pursue Cole. Sarah crumpled, then noticed the decorated fence post through the glass, her initials woven with carved flora. Her fingers traced the wood's surface. The telegraph message arrived 60 minutes later, brought by the deputy. Charges dismissed months earlier. Supervisor recovered fully. No active warrant. But Cole had vanished. Preparing her horse, loading her rifle, Sarah rode into the untamed wilderness. She refused to lose him, not to pride, not to fear, but to anything. Following his trail into remote territory, Sarah tracked hoofprints through thawing snow. He was returning to the beginning, the location where the wolves had discovered him. Completing a pattern or ending one, she located him at twilight, seated beneath the tree where his mount had perished. Bloodstains remained visible against the white ground. Without speaking, she simply sat alongside him. Their silence contained everything. Eventually, you left. Had no choice. No, you were frightened. Cole's laugh carried bitterness. The entire settlement will destroy you because of me. The settlement doesn't control my existence. She withdrew the wedding band from her pocket, the one from his scattered belongings. We lay this to rest together. Begin fresh. Sarah. ... I tracked you down because love isn't surrendering when difficulties arise. That's simply fear disguised as nobility. He broke then, drawing her close, pressing his face into her hair. I can't pull you into my destruction. Too late. I'm already present.
Oh.
Together they excavated a small opening, depositing his ring and her necklace within, covering everything with soil and stones. New season, she stated. New existence, he agreed. A howl destroyed the moment, close from multiple directions. They stood back to back, weapons and blade prepared. Predator eyes materialized in the darkness. 6 pairs advancing. They remember me, Cole observed. Good, Sarah answered, raising her weapon. Let's ensure they remember us both. The pack leader, scarred and ancient, fixated on Cole with primal fury and attacked. She fired. Missed. The leader moved too quickly. Cole thrust himself between Sarah and snapping fangs, taking teeth into his left shoulder, the same side as his original injury. His scream echoed as he plunged his blade into the wolf's ribs. The leader retreated, bleeding. The pack circled closer. Another shot from Sarah dropped a second wolf. Cole grabbed a deceased branch, wrapped his shirt around it, ignited it with matches from his pocket. Flames erupted. The wolves paused. Fire represented their ancient nemesis, yet hunger pushed them forward. The leader charged again, this time toward Sarah. She held her position. Her rifle malfunctioned. The wolf closed to 10 feet, then 5. Cole's flaming torch struck it across the face. It cried out, stumbled. Sarah lunged for her blade, came up from below, drove it home. The leader collapsed. The remaining pack scattered, disappearing into darkness. Cole fell beside the dead wolf, blood soaking his shoulder. Sarah tore his shirt into wrappings, her hands trembling but certain. I can't lose you, he gasped. Not after finding you. Then stop attempting to leave.
What?
She secured the wound tightly. He captured her hand, pressed it against his chest. Marry me, he stated. Not because of town opinions, not despite them, because I choose you and I'm finished running. Yes, she whispered. On one condition, we confront everything together. No more noble disappearances. Dawn penetrated the storm cloud's winter's final breath. The spring sunrise illuminated a world-melting awakening. They laid the rings at a pine tree's base, marking it with stones. New season, Sarah said. Cole kissed her. New existence. They rode doubled back toward town, not concealing, not fleeing. Together, 3 months later, the cabin echoed with construction sounds. Cole was building a cradle. Sarah, for months expecting, maintained the garden where wolves once stalked. Spring had arrived, not as miracle, but as compensation for enduring winter. They'd married 2 weeks following the wolf encounter. A traveling judge, small ceremony. Sheriff Garrett attended, along with some neighbors. Many stayed distant. Dawson had departed the county. The minister came privately, humbled. You demonstrated grace, Mrs. Hartley, he'd said. I apologize. Forgiveness arrived gradually. Last month, Cole had rescued a drowning child from the river. Mother's perspectives shifted. Fathers followed suit. The settlement was discovering what? Well, Sarah had always known. Courage wore many faces. They'd welcomed. Jenkins's orphan nephew into their home, Ann, 8-year-old boy who needed family as much as they needed him. Cole taught him woodworking. Sarah taught him literacy. Family reconstructed through choice. Evening descended. Sarah and Cole occupied their porch, observing sunset painting the territory gold. Distant wolf calls reminded them danger still existed in the world, but so did they. Cole's hand rested on Sarah's belly. She leaned against him, inhaling sawdust in safety. Will the baby be courageous like you? The boy asked, appearing in the entrance. Courage isn't the absence of fear, Sarah explained. It's loving people regardless. In the garden, wild flora bloomed where they'd buried the rings. Blue wildflowers, colorful paintbrush, wild roses. Cole had carved a small wooden marker. Winter. 1887, where love began. Not where it concluded, where it began. Winter always ends, Sarah observed. Watching fireflies ascending, Cole kissed her temple. And spring belongs to those patient enough to wait for it. The lamp illuminated the window, the same beacon that had guided him to safety months prior. Now it welcomed a transformed man home. Someone who'd stopped fleeing. Someone who'd discovered that love wasn't his destruction, it was his salvation. The end.